Moss and Marriage Goals Show. Hey, God oversees all love stories. I'm 1/3 of Moss and Marriage because it's God first, then it's me, and then to my left is
Dr. Moss.
And I'm Dr. Deontay Moss. That's Dr. Cartel Moss. But we got special guests in the building with us today. We got the Williams. Hey!
Big energy.
Man, so happy to have you guys.
All right. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we love you. You know, y'all know we love you.
We got this little thing going.
Yeah, we got a thing going. Because y'all done taught us how to fight through some battles.
That part.
I remember y'all took us on a little vacation. Yeah, we was in Ohio and we didn't know it was caves and wooded forests.
That was fun.
And it was bears and wolverines. We almost died. But they took us on like a little. But y'all taught us so much.
It was
in that day. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was powerful.
So I got to get. Then they took us to their house. They got a nice house. They got a real house. Yeah, we was playing pool down there. I was like, oh my God. Ghosts.
Literally.
Yeah, they're our neighbors. They're basically kind of like our neighbors.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
God is
We
good.
go to the same church too.
Yes, we do.
Same church.
So we known y'all. How long have we known y'all?
Ooh.
So it had to be.
You were still a kid.
Yeah,
I
was. No, so we talking
What was it?
Upton.
Upton, yes.
Upton.
So when I got to Upton, I was
30-something.
like, what, 14, 13, something like that? So if I calculate how old I am now, man, what's then?
It
4.
had to have been over 20 years.
Yeah, 23.
Wow!
Yeah.
That's dope.
Woo! Yeah, y'all been raising me.
Yeah, real talk. Y'all knew him more of his life than I.
Y'all don't raise me. The Williams don't raise me out here.
Then God charged me on you, so I had to,
No.
That's
look
powerful.
your way.
Glad you answered the
Look your
call.
way.
Because some people probably hung up. They said, Jesus on their life, boss. We busy. Get somebody else
We
to
got
do
you.
it.
All right.
I'm glad, Pastor Clarence, I'm glad you took the call, man. You
Okay.
blessed me.
No problem.
Yeah, you accepted the challenge. I turned out all right, too. Yeah, you did. I turned out all right.
Turned out great.
Indeed.
Turned out great.
With my blessing.
Real great.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into it, y'all. We're going to do just a couple icebreakers before we
That's the
jump
teacher
into the
in you.
questions.
Yeah. That's the teacher, Eric. You want to do icebreakers.
Throw it up, catch it. First question. If you could be invisible for a day, what would you do?
Ooh, invisible.
If I could be invisible, what would I do? Wow.
Anybody.
Invisible for a day?
Yeah.
What would I do?
I would enjoy it.
I want to have a godly answer.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about how I could make some money. And I don't know if that's the right, for all, Lord, help me. What would you want me to do if I was invisible, Lord?
I would go around listening to people, like maybe prayers or thoughts or something. And then you could just answer their stuff like magic.
We can talk to them
you
too.
kept it godly.
You triggered it, but I was like, that'd be dope though. If they praying and then you just make it happen, like it's there.
Oh, so like somebody you would listen to somebody pray and make sure it happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be like, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
I was speaking to people's ears.
Ooh.
Ooh, so you would scare people to death.
No, I wouldn't scare them. I would speak positive things into their ears.
Yeah.
So they could understand what's good, the good things of God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would speak,
Like affirmations?
affirmations and the good things of God, so that they would take it into account.
I like that
Some
answer.
things
Me
about
too.
God.
I'm invisible.
Yeah.
See, you gotta compliment stuff that people don't normally compliment. That's how I got it. I complimented her eyebrows. Who was complimenting? Everybody say hair, you know what I'm saying? Eyes. I said, girl, your arches is
Oh yeah,
Bang.
definitely. I would say the same thing.
Yeah, you gotta keep them compliments in
You're
there.
pretty all the time. You're gorgeous.
That part.
You better talk that stuff, Mr.
Hey.
Glenn.
You are my life. So,
To me.
yeah, but if I was invisible, I'd do a lot of things. Talk to a lot of people, whether it's God, word, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I would just go around and see what I can do. See what God let me to do to maybe lift them up.
Yeah.
Doing something, you know.
That'd be powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a powerful experience.
I'm glad that we all will help people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will.
We all will serve.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
We got
That's
yeah,
what
we
God
got to
wants us
serve.
to do.
Right.
You know that's right.
You got another one in you? Or you?
Y'all want to hear one more?
Yeah, do one
All right, let's hear one more.
Okay, all right. Oh, girl, you catch that ball so well.
The best gift you've ever received.
Best gift?
Ooh.
Hold on. Did we do that at the same time? Did we?
I was a little faster.
We just become best friends.
Yes, we
We
did.
did that at the same time. That is.
I have to say the same.
I always
have
say
to
that too. I
the
say
same.
this is my gift. God gives
This
the
is
best
the best
gifts.
gift, right here.
That
Yes,
part.
it is.
That
I
part.
can't believe we thought about that at the same time. It was like that was amazing.
That was, God did it.
God did.
God did it.
God
Sure did.
Look, well, since we're here,
Mhm.
let's just jump into it. How about you guys share your love story? Tell us how you guys met and became the
Okay.
Williams.
I can
How
start
does
off
a
with that
Clarence
one.
be the Debbie, a Debbie be the Clarence.
I was coming home from work. What time was it? It was in the evening.
In the evening.
In the evening, I come home from work and I pulled in and get some gas at Ohio, right? So then all of a sudden I looked over and there she was, pumping gas, and we did this eye contact thing, you know. And I don't go, you know, running after women and nothing. I didn't then, but I went to her.
Okay.
I didn't care. I said, hey, that's the one. That's the one. That is the one. So I went to the car and 2 kids popped up too. So, so you know, I said, cool. I can handle that too. So ever since then, it's been us.
Yeah.
Been us. So,
She gassed you up.
oh yeah, yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
But she
I
did a little,
ran
she did a little
from
tweak
him.
there.
Are you?
Was afraid of him because he was good looking. And I was like, well, I don't want to be one of his women. So I was like, he's probably got a bunch of women on the string. So I was like, nah, I'll pass.
You tried.
And I tried real hard. I tried to get rid of him. I talked about his car and
Yeah, that was
tried
a
to
low
make him
spot.
go away.
Come
He
on.
had a Lincoln Continental.
Oh, that's like
And I-
presidential though.
Yeah,
And I was
like-
giving him a hard time,
Yeah,
and
she was.
he just kept coming
He was
and
good.
kept coming.
You was
kept
doing what you was
trying.
supposed to do, because you know you don't want to just
She's playing hard to
accept.
get.
You're right.
Yeah.
And see if I was real or not.
And
Persistent.
he said that line. He said, "I don't know who let you go, but you ain't getting away from me."
Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm already there. I'm already there. I don't need it. I don't need that line, but that's a good line.
Yeah,
I don't know who let you go.
That's right.
And he said, and then after he said that, 35 years later, it's been 35 years. We've been married for 35
Sure.
years,
Yeah.
and
For
we're
sure,
still
baby.
together. He never let me go.
Wow.
Good.
That's awesome.
Good.
You better do that.
Okay. So I have a question because you said like you normally don't engage, you know, with women or whatever, go out of your way to do so. At that time that you spotted Debbie, though, were you already like interested in marriage, interested in finding somebody?
The right person, you know, I was looking for or expecting, or you know, if they wasn't about nothing, so to speak, you know, I wouldn't go that way. But I didn't go out and, hey, baby, how you doing, or something like
Yeah.
that. I didn't do none of that, you know. I just wait till things come to me,
Okay.
you know, and let God do it, and we hooked her up. But I just knew, when I seen her in the car, didn't you try to ignore me at first? You turned your head.
I did.
Okay, you turned your head like
I
you didn't
looked
see
over
me.
and I saw him looking down at me, and I was like, ooh. He's got pretty eyes, but never mind.
That was good.
And I looked over there again, and he was still gazing.
And
I
don't
turned
do that.
around
I didn't do
again,
that. I don't do that.
then I was getting ready to look up, and there he was.
At the
He was
window,
right
huh?
there, standing next to me.
I just love the fact that y'all remember it like it was yesterday, and this was over
It
35
was.
years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
It
You know what I'm
seemed like
saying?
yesterday. It seemed like it was
Yeah,
not
she
too
tried
long
to.
ago.
That's what's up. So now all our single people gonna be out there at the gas stations.
In the gas station, yeah.
Anybody who make eye
Pump number
contact.
one.
Yeah, pump
Pump number one. That's what you gotta do. Pump number one.
It gotta be pump number one.
That's right.
Don't
So
get
high, so
Yeah,
high.
don't mess with the 10, 11 pumps. Leave the
Oh,
diesel
yeah.
alone.
It was good. It was good.
So I have another question. What did preparation for that person look like for y'all? Were you also in a position to like be open to relationships or?
Actually, I was in a position where I had gotten to a point where I didn't want to be, hooked up with anyone.
Okay.
I was tired of being with people who weren't really, trying to get anywhere or trying to do anything right. And so I decided, well, I'm just going to go back to school and do something for myself. And I'm not going to get hooked up with anyone. And I said, I'm going to finish my classes. And at that point, I was almost done with school. So when he came along, I was just about finished.
Yeah.
And so, I was still trying to, stay away from men and, to handle my kids, take care of my kids and not worry about it. But when he came along, it was like, wow, I'm almost done with school. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, which I did. And, he kept trying. And so finally I said, okay, I'll give him a chance. And it turned out okay.
I always hear it seems like that it always happens when you're not looking for it.
Exactly.
When you're not.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Wasn't looking at all.
At all.
Yeah.
I think that kind of happened for us too. Like we weren't looking for it. We kind of were just friends, and then we kind of connected. Just with a group of mutual friends, and then it kind of just like, dang, can it? So. But,
Yeah, full already.
Mm-hmm.
So, another question. If you had any advice for someone who was preparing or trying to get themselves in that position to where they're already full and ready to receive whoever God has for them, what would be some tips or tools you would give that person?
Yeah, you go ahead. Well, no, they have to be patient. That's the key. Be patient. Don't just because somebody look pretty or they got a little money, don't let that be your following ship. Because if God is yours, is you, so you wait on Him. He'll tell you. He'll tell you, he'll move you something too. I just got drawn over there to the car almost. So he'll let you know if we're honest with everything. Just don't grab everything you see.
You definitely won't grab it.
No, you don't. You want to know that this person is for you.
Yeah.
And it's that way all the time. But we ain't got too much patience. Oh, she good looking, and she might have an attitude that, or he's fine or what. Them kind of things and little hidden things. But gotta reveal all that to you if you're serious about getting married and want to keep it.
Yeah.
And take your time. Don't rush into it. Find out what they're about. Find out their background, find out, where they came from. One good thing about us is where we met, and that's what got our conversation going, is his parents lived around the corner from where the gas station was, and so did my parents. And the church we both grew up in was right down the street. So we got into a conversation like, wow, it's almost like we knew each other, but we really didn't. And I knew his daughter before I knew him. I knew his sister before I knew him. I knew his mother because his mother went to the same church we did. So pretty much, his background was real close to me. And a lot of what he was about, we kind of like grew up together and didn't even realize it because we were in the same church and
I didn't even know her
him.
until
Really?
the car
You know,
deal,
but-
it's Ohio gas station. So I didn't even know her in the same church. So
Hey, it's probably, do you think that was like on purpose that like God maybe kept y'all
you
away
know
from
it.
each other for a little
You
bit?
know it.
Because that's what happened to us too.
Mm-hmm.
I actually met Ted when I was 12, but we didn't see each other for years after that.
Right.
And then it's kind of like, where have you been? We didn't even live that far away from each other. Like,
Check
and
that
then
out.
same
Check
circles
that
of
out.
people, certain
Right,
people,
right.
people knew her and knew me, but
Yeah.
we never
Right.
was like, what? It's like when the day she popped out, and I said, ooh. You know, like, it was like, it's time. It's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. God knows how to put it together.
I think
Yeah.
timing is important,
Yeah.
very important, because if I had come earlier, he wouldn't have been ready for me. You know, so
Probably not.
I think it made a big difference.
I think so too. I don't think Ted would have been ready for me either.
I wouldn't have.
She wouldn't have been ready for me at that time.
Yeah,
God had to make sure she was mature enough to handle me.
that part. I'm sure that's exactly what it was.
He'll do it.
For sure.
Even when it get a little rough, you know.
For sure. And I think it really was though, like valuing those, my 20-something years, I probably wouldn't have been ready to do what we do now, you know, to just love unconditionally, to even think, and I don't even think I was as disciplined in my relationship with Christ at that time. So had it come any earlier, any sooner, I probably wouldn't have been ready to be who I'm supposed to be.
She would have left in the first argument.
Like, God, come get your son.
Get your son.
He wouldn't let
Other
it. He
son,
wouldn't
not
let it.
Jesus. You already got him. Go ahead.
You down here tripping.
That's good. That's good.
So let's get into, because you guys have been married for 35 years.
35. That's amazing.
35 years. That's almost as old as us. Like, we could be our kids, literally.
Well, you could.
Yeah, you could.
Literally.
Yeah. It's-
When we got children your age.
Yeah. So with 35 years of marriage comes 35 years of experience that we want to learn from. Within let's say maybe those first 1 to 10 years, if you could look back and talk to your younger self, what would you tell them?
Your turn this time.
If I could look back at my younger self and look at where I am now, I was young and inexperienced as far as marriage. This is my first and only marriage. I would say that I would tell myself to, again, take my time, not to rush into anything, which I pretty much did, but have more patience. You know, I didn't have a lot of patience back then.
You're busy all the time.
Yeah, and I was always working, always going, always, you know, rushing and running. I would have probably taken more time to get to know him better, to get to, you know, spend more time with him. I was gone most of the time. I was running and rushing. And I think I probably would have done better if I had more patience and if I had settled down more and smelled the roses more rather than being gone all the time and rushing and going. So basically, I mean, everything turned out okay as far as us being together now, but I think it would have been even better if I had, you know, spent more time in the relationship and had more time to, you know, to spend with him.
So you saying like when you get married, you still gotta like learn and know your spouse?
Oh yeah, you definitely.
You can't just watch the DVD.
Big time. You better start digging. That time. You better start
You still
finding.
gotta learn them?
Yeah.
Like while you married,
Yeah.
even in 35 years?
Even at
I thought like once you get married, everything like get downloaded.
Yeah.
It don't happen that way? It don't?
No.
No.
I wish it did though.
You can't just watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, like-
you can't just watch Moss and Marriage.
Tell wife.
So it sounded like you were kind of saying, just slowing down
Yeah,
and
slow
being more
down.
intentional
Yeah.
about catering to them, spending
Right.
time with them,
Yeah.
engaging with them, getting to know them. Our bishop always talk about that too, like
Yeah.
date night and being intentional about making time for your spouse.
And we do that now. You know, every Friday pretty much we go out and, you know, go
Date
to the
night.
parks and, you know, that's our favorite places. Going to the parks and going and, you know, somewhere by the water where the ducks and the, you know, the birds and stuff are. And just getting out and walking around and, you know, enjoying enjoying life and enjoying the nature. You know, it's really nice to be able to just get away and spend time together and not worry about what's going on, you know, in the world and stuff. So that was like something we probably should have started in the beginning doing. You know, it would have been a really good way to, you know, to spend time together and enjoy our relationship more. But we do that now, and we don't do it as much as we probably could. I've been doing a lot of caregiving from, you know, 2 people, so it's been really kind of rough. So we kind of backed off a little bit, but we are kind of, you know, gradually getting back into it. So
You know, go out and eat, park,
going out
waterfall,
to eat and
whatever we run into. You know.
Okay.
going to
But
Cleveland.
almost a new spot every time. you
Yeah,
know.
to the
And we come back
waterfalls
to the
in
good ones.
Cleveland.
Yep.
And, you know, different places like that, just finding things to do.
Yeah, and we watched you do that over the years, and even when we hung out with you before. And one thing that, you know, that stood out to me was that one time we did take that waterfalls and go to those
Yeah.
caves and all that
Right.
stuff. We did that. That was such a fun day. I remember, you know, you always talking to us about keep finding stuff to do with each other and stuff like that. But even if y'all were at odds with each other, I remember you had this thing that you would do where you like, I don't know, you have to explain it, but you like stop everything and give me a hug or something. Like where he had to, can you explain that?
Oh, yeah.
There were times when I just, you know, I just needed that extra, you know, just extra. I might be feeling down, I might be feeling bad, I might be feeling sick or anything. And I don't care where I am, what I'm doing. If I walk up to him, he already knows I'm looking for that hug.
Yeah.
And he will stop everything and give me that hug. And it really makes the difference in my day. It makes a difference in how I feel. He's real good about that, you know, and that really, I mean, like, that's like the best thing in our
I do the
relationship
same
is that
thing 'cause I
hug.
need hugs too, you know.
I
I do. I go in there and she might be on the phone or something. We just
Yeah,
hug. you
and
know.
when he walks up to me, you know, same thing. You know, I already know what he's coming in there for, and we stop everything and just give just that hug.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
powerful.
it really makes a difference. It changes everything about the way I'm feeling, about, you know, my day, and it's like it's like an energy,
Yeah, that's
like
what I
it's
thought
energy. It gives me that energy, it gives me that love, and then I can just keep going as if as if nothing else is going on. I'll just keep going, and it really energizes me. It makes me feel good. So
Yeah.
it
And we
really
do it
helps.
if we're kind of like apart for a second, you know. You know, she didn't like the eggs I fixed or something. I'm just hypothetical, you know, and so we just do it then too. You know, that's the time you do it. You go hug. You know, you go grab them, hold them for a while.
And I remember y'all telling us that, and then we got to witness it one time when we was out of town with y'all,
Mhm.
and we were in the middle of the grocery store,
Okay.
and she was like, she came right up to you like, just grabbed her, and I was like, they in the middle of the store, just, you know what I'm saying? Just,
Don't matter.
where.
Ain't nobody gonna mess
Yeah.
with you
And I was
doing
like,
that.
oh, look at that man, they do
If
that.
I need it, I don't care where I am and what I'm doing. He will give me that hug, and
Yeah, it was a
and
moment.
it'll be a short hug most of the time. Sometimes it's a longer hug, but whatever I need, he'll give it to me, you know, at that time. So that's really been a saving grace in our marriage, you know. Even if we were to fight and, you know, not physically fight, but just, you know, how you get, you know, you have your issues and you go through things, and a lot of times, you know, when we get to that point, we separate, you know.
Yeah.
He'll go to his you know, man cave, and I'll go to my office in the back, and we kind of like, you know, separate and get our heads together. And then later on, we'll come out and give each other that hug, and that just
Even
starts
apologize.
it all over
Yeah.
again.
Even
Yeah, apologize and
Even though you don't want to. I don't want, okay, then you do it,
And I
you know?
witnessed y'all do that, and it was powerful, so powerful to me that I always remember.
It was such a powerful experience to witness, though. And to me, it sounds like that's kind of like also love language, as far as that physical touch, that hug just softens you.
yeah.
And then also the apology language. Like, that hug is like, okay, I'm ready to get past this. Let's work it out.
You gotta keep those hugs, because you know, we're one,
Yeah.
you know? You hurt her, you hurting yourself, you know? So, and vice versa, we're one. You know, we gotta think about we're one, you know, whatever's, you know, I'm drilling it in. We're one, okay?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's what works.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember that. When you say I do, God melts us together. Not physically, but spiritually.
Sure. So when she's down or not feeling full or up to par, then that impacts
Sometimes
the one.
we feel the things before they even happen, you know. Oh, she might be in there hurting or something, or back or something, you know.
Yeah.
Us older people have a backache every now and then. Just every now and then. Yeah, I like to say something about, you know, it's not always good. And in the beginning, it's kind of, you know, you kind of tiptoeing and everything, you know. And I remember one time, back then I was drinking, you know. And when I first got into Upton, you know, that was the beginning of that. And we was arguing and stuff, because I don't really know what we was arguing about, you know, but and then all of a sudden I heard, Clarence? I said, what? Pastor want to talk to you.
Oh, she called Pastor on you?
She was Upton, she was
Not
pastor.
Pastor.
Yeah.
She called
She
Pastor.
called Pastor on me.
He
I
was
said,
getting kind of rowdy,
"Thank you, Pastor."
and he was like scaring me, and I ran out the door, and ran and made a phone call, and I was like, Pastor, can you talk to my husband, because he's getting kind of wild, and that's all I had to say
She
to
didn't
her.
talk too much. She said,
And
Brother
she
Clarence, how you doing? I said, I'm doing all right. I probably went, how you doing all right? He said, Clarence, Brother Clarence, I think you ought to lay down and go to sleep now. And I said, okay, Pastor, I will. Never happened again.
Okay.
You know, Pastor.
She got away with her shit.
Yeah.
She do.
And it was cool and calm on.
She done put me to bed a couple times.
Look, me too.
She made me lay down. Go lay down too. A few times.
Yeah. It got tighter then, you know. Got the pastor involved and all that stuff. I wasn't upset or nothing, but it just happened. I just laid down and sleep. Woke up next morning.
Sure.
What happened yesterday, dear? Because you know I was drunk
Man,
then. So.
yeah. And then you go to church and you feel like the message is just for you.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
people don't want to lay down. People need to start laying down right now.
No, but it was just weird that I just listened,
Yeah.
you know, and obeyed her.
And I think it's, we kind of chimed in on that before, but I think sometimes it's powerful when it comes from somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because she probably could have said, just go lay down, we'll talk about it tomorrow. You're like, lay down? It probably
lay
could have
down.
triggered
I ain't
something.
ready to lay down.
You don't
Get
tell
ready
me
to turn
when
on
to lay
TV. Or something.
You lay down.
Don't you have a basketball game on? You know? Nothing. I just, you know, lay
Yeah.
down.
But the moment outside source that really was, you know, could have been heaven sent or God putting
Oh, you know
Bishop
that,
in your
yeah.
back pocket, you know, to speak to the king in you, like, hey, go rest, get up in the morning, try it again.
Try it again.
Which is
we all
powerful.
forget about this, okay? Just be
Yeah.
right. Be,
Yeah.
you know, do it right.
So what would you say to your younger self?
To my younger self, oh man, don't let too many girls in your car. Before her, right?
Yeah.
Just forget about it. I thought it was some kind of, you know, whatever, but yeah, that wasn't no good. That wasn't no good at all. So I knew I had to have a person. And, you know, I got married and then that didn't work out, but that's why I got her.
Okay.
35 years. I got the right one. Got the right one, baby.
Did you guys both retire?
Yes.
I know you retired.
Yeah, I was,
An electrician, right?
yeah, electrician,
Yeah,
yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah. But I wasn't retired at the Ohio yet.
Uh-huh.
But I retired probably 11 years ago.
Uh-huh. How's the retired life?
Beautiful.
Oh, they said it together.
They both
Love
listen
it.
like,
Oh my goodness.
Y'all
Jump
don't
in
know
the
what y'all
car,
missing.
8 o'clock in the morning, noon, I'll be back, or, whatever.
But you still be working hard. I
Well,
mean, like, I know you retired.
Yeah.
But you done came and did some work at our house. You know,
You're my
you done
brother,
hooked all
you know.
kind of stuff up at our house.
right.
And I'm glad you did that because I would have probably tried. I probably would have died. I would have tried to do it myself.
Just save your life.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for blessing us house with lights. Let there be light. The Williams put light in our house. All kind of connected all kind of stuff that I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah. We probably would have had all kind of lines through the.
Yeah.
This ain't Christmas. Like I got Christmas light hanging up in your living room. Yeah,
Save the day.
you definitely
Save
saved
the
that.
day.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you still be out and you do stuff.
Yeah, I
You
help
have
people out.
ministries?
Mostly our people that's close.
Yeah.
I mean, they got something wrong. I look at it.
So it's like when you retire, you retire from the job or the
The
career
job.
you had, but it's like you still be doing stuff.
Right, I still be doing stuff.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
you
seems
did like the
like-
prison ministry, right?
Well, I'm
You-
still in the
you-
prison ministry.
Yeah, so you still active, going in and getting it in.
Prison ministry in downtown.
It
Yeah.
seems like we're busier now than we were when we were
Really?
working.
It's a good busy though.
Yeah,
You just don't sell
but
them
we're-
hours to that job no more.
Right.
Yeah, we're
No,
working,
man.
we're
get
doing
to do what
things
you
we
wanna do.
want to do,
Yeah.
things we like
Right,
doing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tay got to go to when she want to retire. She already told me.
But
Um,
next week?
I wish. I wish.
Yeah, she got at a certain age that she said she retiring,
Uh-huh.
and then everybody here they like, huh? That's early. She like, I'm retiring at that age.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And when I say retired, though, I think the best way to describe it is probably what y'all do. Retire from teaching full time, so I could pursue my passion projects. I could be
Right.
a servant, and I could just have time to just flow in life,
Yeah.
not rush into a job.
Mhm.
You know, that's what I
That's-
want to get away
that's-
from.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's
He
nice.
heard you. He heard you.
For sure. For sure.
Put in that.
Whatever comes out of our mouth,
Yeah.
it's our words,
Okay.
God's words actually.
For sure.
So
Sure.
that was good. Even though it's bad, it's good. That's what we gotta go around doing. But be good,
Yeah.
Especially to your wife, and that's number one. Don't ever think nothing else. She's number one, and always, forever, always. Ain't that a song?
Ooh,
Always,
come on.
and forever.
I thought you was about to jump. I thought you was about to do it. I thought I heard it. You got a little.
Always and forever.
Hey.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's us. God put all this in us, put light in us, and we don't probably even use 20% of it, Even going, He's gracious. We mess up a lot because we in the human flesh.
Yeah.
Well, have faith in Him.
I
Say
think
unto
that's-
that mountain, be thou removed.
I think that's the
Cast
most
in the sea.
important part is having God in your life, because I don't know, a lot of times I don't know how I would have made it without Him being in my life,
Same
especially
here.
with our marriage. It made a big difference, especially I've had to do a lot of praying, and a lot of seeking God, and being that He is the background in our marriage, it has made a big difference. I really don't think we probably would have made it without Him being in our life. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think, being able to ask Him to come in and help us with our marriage was really a turning point in more than one, at more than one time and in more than one way. As far as our relationship, being together, I think God had a lot to do with that, us staying together.
Yeah, that's our motto. Don't do marriage alone. That's why we ain't
You
calling
don't wanna
everything.
do
That's why
that.
most of marriage ain't even. That's why we
You
got the
don't
3
wanna
crosses
do
on
that.
there, because it's God, me, and her.
Right. It makes
That's
a
great.
difference.
For sure.
It really does.
With that whole don't do marriage alone piece, we also think about the value of being connected to other married couples like y'all who've been married for 35 years. And not only did y'all get to impart in our lives through word, but we seen it in action. So it was value in being in that environment with y'all and just being able to see y'all what that looks like in action, walking it out. So I just want to know what's y'all thoughts on being other couples being connected to other couples.
Oh, it's a must, necessary. You know, we ain't alone. You know, but yeah, we need to pull off of each other. You know, something's in you, something. You know, you never know, but somebody gonna tell you something, and it's probably gonna be like y'all could tell us something. But that's it. That's the way you have to go with it and keep it that way. Because it's hard to keep it that way, you know. but remember who we are, you know. We're God's children, and we mess up. But we just get it right back together.
And we've had other couples that have pulled on us.
That's a few.
Yeah, you know, looking for advice or looking for assistance in their marriages, and we've given, you know, not necessarily advice, but what we went through in certain situations.
Experience.
Yeah, and we've been appreciated for it, and I just thank God that we were able to help, you know,
And that's big time.
in whatever way we
And
can.
you know, you help somebody, and you say, "Oh, thank you, Lord." You know, because you don't know what's going to happen. I've been cursed out a couple times, you know, a couple brothers, but hey, I am what I am. Yeah. Some of them come back and apologize too, a year later or something.
Yeah, after they realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to think we was like one of your favorite couples to mentor, because one time I went to your house and I saw a picture of us hanging up in the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, they really love us.
We made their house.
We made their house.
Yeah, you made the list.
A picture of us in their house. And I was like, they really love us. Even through all our arguing and them helping us out and sorting us out, they love us. I was like, you really answered the call on that one. You obey God.
Indeed.
Got to.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to do again, like I say, but you know, we get kind of frantic sometimes and want to do our thing, but our thing is usually God's thing. You know, you put it in front of, but we got to rely on Him.
Sure.
You know, don't curse at Him. I don't think that's a good idea to do. But see, His lovingness, He'll forgive you for that. You know, just stay in touch with the God. That's big time. Biggest thing happening to us right now is that, and we don't realize it. You know, a lot of people run around thinking they got all things made, but you know, we got the biggest made because we got Christ on our side.
And thank you for continuing to be that example, especially me, because you know we used to have our talks in the car when you be picking me up from everywhere, when we was in school together, seminary and stuff like that. But I always enjoyed those talks, and you always was a great example for me. So I appreciate you being that man.
Yeah, we did have a lot of talk.
You just set me straight.
Come home amazing.
I told you when you go home, open that
hang out
door,
with Clarence.
you're gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
You fall in place, and she be nice, and I'll work together.
I using him again. I can't go nowhere because I don't want to walk.
That's right.
You want this ride, though? You're going to listen to me for 30 minutes.
You listen.
Yeah. So, I appreciate that. Thank you.
For sure.
Appreciate
Both
you
of y'all.
having me. You know, it's another thing there.
Definitely.
But I got to throw that oneness in there. We got to realize that.
Yeah, let's tap into
we
it.
don't see it the oneness, but we are one. God has melded us together. If you want to go in this super realm God thing, you'll see that. You know how we together one. He wants us to think one. You know, if we all got something going this way, talk it over with your spouse. You know, then you agree to this thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's powerful. There's power in the one. Once you know it's powerful, use it.
You become more intentional about using it. what does that look like with trying to, understand the merging?
Well, I can only get spacey or ghosty on you if, our spirits is connected, and we might be from California to New York, but we still connected. Once God does it, He don't undo.
And you feel it too.
You do.
I could be mad at Ted, but I still feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could be upset. I could be in the man cave.
Mm-hmm.
She upstairs, and we at odds. And I'm like, dang, I'm mad at her. But I just wish she would just come down here and hug me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be one so bad, but you mad.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and she mad, and y'all matter. You stay mad for a little bit of time, but you like, dang. Remember day 2 you was mad? Was you thinking about connecting back together or something like,
Yeah, you should have been came up here.
Why last 3 days? We was ready to be one again on day 2. What was the extra time for? What was the extra 24 hours for? You know what I'm saying? So you can feel your spirit, like
you can. You can. If you want it, you can feel it. Got it. So it's there.
For sure. When you also said that oneness, I thought about practically. Like, literally, most of my weaknesses are his strengths. Like, we can name stuff where I feel like that's just not something I'm interested in doing. That's not something I'm comfortable doing, whatever. And he's strong in those areas.
Right.
And vice versa, the parts of him where he's weaker or just not a real interest or gift or whatever, God gave it to me. And when we come together, we like, what can we do? What can't we do? And then when it's really God telling you to do it, even when God tell me something and I can't do it, I'm thinking about even the Bible study at the church.
Right.
I mean, not at the church, at my job. God told me, like, we need to be doing that. And I come to him because I'm like, I don't know how to do no Bible study.
I'll do the Bible study. Hey, you need to do this Bible study.
But to me, that was the God and the oneness, because I already had, I was already in the space. I already had access to the kids. I already had relationships with the kids. So they coming, and then he coming to feed them what God prepared, So it's always just the oneness. So I definitely can see what you're saying. And I'm just like, okay, how do we play on that even more? Because we know and we've been able to see that it works. It works really when we work better together. So how can we, encourage people to really tap into that more often?
Well, like we're doing now, we're telling people to become one, and it ain't, like you say, ain't no melting together, nothing like this. It's a God thing,
Right.
And God says, say yes to Him, and He'll work in us, and you'd be surprised on the things that God said. I thought about 6 months ago, and I was rejecting it or didn't want to do it. He'll just melt you into it, once you say, okay. See, it's simple, but we make it so hard.
So we're about to finish up in a minute.
Okay.
What would be some advice that you would give to married couples? If you had one piece of good advice to give to depart with, you want to tell other married couples, what advice would that be?
Ladies first.
I would say communication.
Communication.
Is real important that, you understand where your spouse is as far as talking to them about what, is going on with them, and the same thing with them talking to you. That communication is the most important part, because if you don't talk about it, they won't know what's going on with you.
You're just guessing.
Right.
And you won't know what's going on with them, and then, like I said before, we may, go our separate ways for a little while, get our heads together, but then we come back and then we have that communication. You got to talk about it, because if you don't, it'll go off into something else, and before you know it, you're staying in separate areas, and you never come back together. So that communication, I think, is real important.
Because if you make up some crazy stories in your head. One time,
Right.
Ted was
I
selling
know
drugs.
that's
everywhere.
right.
Yeah.
Ted was selling drugs working at the zoo. I'm like, I know she is. It matched up in my head. And I was like, wait a minute, you just went to the grocery store? That was it? I'm glad I asked you, because I knew you was selling drugs at the zoo. You know what I'm saying? I'm Wow.
Yeah, that communication is key.
Yeah, I had to say that too. Communication,
Communicate.
and willing to do what the other partner wants to do.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
And that's a big one too.
That's a big one.
Because what I can't do, he usually does, and what he doesn't do, I usually does, and we can't like make up for whatever the other person doesn't do. Like when I'm sick and I'm not feeling good, he goes around, he cooks and cleans and takes care of the house, and the same thing. You know, if I'm sick or if he's sick, then you know I take care of him, and
Vice versa.
and you know we make up for it,
Yeah.
whatever the other doesn't have, and we seem to like complement each other in that. We don't even have to ask; we just do it, you know,
Yeah.
because whatever he is in need of, I just see it do it, and he does the same thing, and that complements each other, and we don't even it's automatic. It just happens, you know. So that again is communication without even really communicating. You know, it's just.
But we are
It's,
communicating.
yeah.
You know, actually.
In a way, we're communicating without communicating. You know,
Nothing supernatural. just
but by knowing your spouse and knowing what they need and them knowing what you need, and you just doing it. You
Great
know.
advice. Great advice. Well, we want to thank y'all for coming on the Moss and Mary show and giving us
Appreciate y'all
your
so
wisdom.
much.
I know y'all been giving it to us for years, and now we get to share it with the world.
Yeah.
So we appreciate y'all coming to do
Great,
that. The
great.
Williams are in the building.
We
All
thank
right
you.
now.
We thank
We
you.
appreciate
All right.
Thank
you
you for
guys.
inviting
y'all.
us.
Thank you.
All right.
That's the Moss and Mary show goes.
Let's go.
God, me, my wife,
All right.
and we had the Williams with us today.
Yes,
Signing
yes.
out. Moss and Mary's goes. We out. Let's
All
get
right.
it.